Hello, Satsangat Astrology here. I'm back to speak about the end of the year 2022. Can you believe it? We are at the end of the year. I can't believe it, how fast it went. Well, we are about to have the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere and the summer solstice in the Southern Hemisphere. And for the whole world, I'm going to speak about the new moon in Capricorn as well. So lots of surprises. This video may be long. I will try to put timestamps to facilitate your viewing. But it's all interesting. So let's get started. I would like to share my contact information if you like to be in the loop in my social media places. Here is my contact information, my email address, if you like to send me a reading request or anything. So I also teach a complete course of astrology. If you like to try that, I include even the nodes of the moon, the eclipses, and everything, planets, aspects, everything. So if you're interested, don't hesitate to send an email to me so I can send you the syllabus. And you can read in my blog, satsangatastrology.blogspot.com. You can read my clients' opinions, and you will not be deceived, that's for sure. So without any more, I will share now the chart of the solstice that is occurring on December 21st, and Central Time is 3:48 and 3:48 p.m. So let me see if I can make it bigger, maximize. Zoom, I don't know, it's not too big, but I changed software, so I'm using this chart for the solstice. So here we have the sun at 0 degree Capricorn, and interesting enough, we have also the Jupiter at 0 degree Aries, which makes a perfect square. I mean, by 7 minutes of arc. So we have a perfect square, and we have other interesting aspects. We also have Hygeia already in Capricorn. I'm going to talk about when I speak about the new moon in Capricorn. But the sun is exactly square Jupiter. And Jupiter has been here in mid-May 2022, and by the end of October 2022. And now this is the third time, and usually the third pass of a planet through a point is let's see, the conclusion of the transit, right? So if you write notes on your transits and you have a journal, I encourage you to go back to mid-May and end of October and see what happens, and now what happens as a conclusion of that. So it's very interesting how the dynamic of the planetary cycles work. So we have the Capricorn season starts, and there is of course, the 0 degree of Capricorn is the cardinal point, or the world point, where the seasons change. And this chart is mainly cardinal and earth energy. So we can expect important material, physical changes, right? Because of the energy, of the cardinal energy that requires shift and the cardinal energy is the 90-degree energy, right? Where we make changes, we change direction, and we start new things, right? Those people who have cardinal energy in their personal charts, they are able to make changes all the time. It's kind of a stressful. But we have then this opportunity to have a radical change of energy, and it's time to start something new, right? It starts the winter in the northern hemisphere, the summer in the southern. I heard that the temperatures are very high in the south, so they have kind of a reflection of what the summer was in the northern hemisphere, right? It's already very, very hot. So this new start requires hard work because it's Capricorn, right? And Capricorn likes to do slow movement, but consistent and repetitive, and for a long term, right? So it's something, if you start something, you assume that you will be exerting a lot of effort, repeating, right? And that will be something that will push you to take responsibility, to be disciplined. And it's a good time to set goals and objectives to realize your ambitions, right? So whatever you initiate now will be of a physical reality. It will be something tangible that you can touch, and it has a shape, it has a form, right? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so it can be seen and perceived by the senses. And you may feel ambitious and have hopes that this will satisfy you. So be careful, because the square with Jupiter could be over ambitious, over optimistic, over reaching, right? And you may be promising yourself more than you can deliver, and also you may aim higher than your resources may allow, right? So also, if there is a charity service, may be motivated by a desire for recognition and show off, publicity. It wouldn't be strange if you find in the news that people may appear in social media saying that they have donated this and that, and lots of publicity for those donations and such amount of money, because of Jupiter, right? Jupiter and the sun, when they clash, they have this overexpansion of the ego, and over optimism, right? And here I am, and I am so big, right? So be careful with your ambitions and expectations, that they are within your personal limits, right? And your personal reality. Capricorn is the sign of reality. And you may be inclined to more indulgence, right? And you may not find the energy to restrain yourself because of this. So it would be wise to avoid any exaggerations in food or anything, right? Especially gambling and financial speculation. You may feel that, oh wow, I can make this amount of money or that amount of money, and So be careful, especially during these the festivities. Many people are taking advantage of people who believe in everything, right? So and also with the religion, there could be fanatism for some people who are very religious. You could be manifestations of fanaticism, and you know, those people that can go to actions that could be detrimental because of this over conviction or trying to impose their beliefs on other people. And these extremes can cause relationship problems, right? So now let's speak about this overpopulation of Capricorn. First of all, we have 4 planets, 3 personal planets, and Pluto as well. And all these are advancing to conjoin Pluto. So we can expect that when they do so during this month, there could be an intensity of the ego, right? When the sun conjuncts Pluto, and then Venus conjuncting Pluto, it could be obsessive desires. And when Mercury conjuncts Pluto, that won't happen because Mercury will turn retrograde before reaching Pluto. At least this month it won't happen, but later on when Mercury comes back, right? So Mercury will, it is already within the shadow. It has been since Mercury was at 8 or 9 degrees of Capricorn, and it will turn back at 24 degrees of Capricorn. So, but this amount of planets in Capricorn gives more intensity to the ambition, to the concentration or focus on the material reality, the resources, and everything that has to do with making life real, right? It could also be a great focus on government, on corporations and such, and work as well. Because Capricorn is a sign of work and workers, and especially civil workers and corporations and governance and government institutions and such. So there is a great focus on those themes. Now, Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, is in Aquarius at 21 degrees. And again, Saturn has been at 21 at the end of March, mid-August, and now. So again, this is the third pass of Saturn by 21 degrees of Aquarius. And again, you may check your notes from those times. Now, Saturn makes a septile with the sun. And this is interesting because a septile is a spiritual energy. And Saturn in Aquarius focuses on science, on technology, but also on society, right? Saturn is the one implementing rules, especially now that is direct. When it was retrograde, it was kind of, cutting some slack, but now, as you may have seen, there are several respiratory viruses roaming around, right? So now, for example, I was in the hospital today, and they require masks again. So there are certain restrictions could be expected in society again. So Saturn in Aquarius is trying to make society safe, right? And the same for the networks like internet. If you have heard the news, Saturn Aquarius, and Saturn is in Aquarius, there has been talks of regulating or protecting internet because of so much cyber war, right? And so much cyber bridges. So as I said, Saturn can put precise measures to attain those goals that we have in Capricorn, but also for membership to groups, social connections, and it's a good placement to find experts in something. For example, if Aquarius is your sixth house, you may find or need some health experts or health specialists, for example, or advisors in communications, to protect your internet access, and some other technical or scientific specialists, and savvy people, technicians and such. So also Saturn Aquarius may talk about communications and projects that had to do with networking goals and such, and for the long term. So whatever house you have in Aquarius transited by Saturn, you are setting expectations, let's say, for your long term, right? Your dreams for the future, which is Aquarius, right? Now, let me give you a few words about the septile, because the septile means that the circle is divided by 7, and it gives a number that doesn't have an end, like the pi number, for example. And this has the impression of, when you are in front of facing mirrors and you see yourself, you see your image for eternity. Well, that is the flavor of this septile aspect. So it's a kind of aspect and energy that is very subtle, and it's hard to perceive it with the senses because it's something more of a Neptunian flavor, right? Or Uranian also, or a mix of Neptunian and Uranian flavor. So it gives us the opportunity to connect with the other realities and dimensions. That's why it's called a mystic aspect. It has mystic characteristics, and this is a septile between Saturn and the Sun. And the Sun is making a closing septile to Saturn because the Sun is faster, right? So is the Sun who has a cycle to Saturn and is closing. So it intensifies both energies, the Suns and the Saturns, and it helps to work with intangible themes like astrology, for example. It's favorable for research, for psychic work, or psychic healing, for religion and science, and all those works and disciplines that don't have tangible things, that are done with mind. And it's about systems and networks and structures of those systems. So this is not something that we perceive, as I said, in a tangible manner, but those are processes that are taking place in the world. It's, I would say, it's a transformation or a construction, Saturn, a construction of new systems and new structures. Capricorn, right? Sun in Capricorn, that will better society, Aquarius, right? So, and as I said, they might not be visible, that you can touch them, but they are in the works. It is a process that we are undergoing because of all the challenges that the world and humanity are going through. Like, for example, they started with the pandemic, and even before, the financial crisis, since 2008, with Pluto and Capricorns, and all that energy that Pluto has stirred in Capricorn is now at play by having the Sun transiting Capricorn, entering Capricorn again. So definitely during the next quarter of a year, the public could see new systems, new ways of relating in society, and innovation also in robotics, for example, and science and technology. And because this septile stimulates the technology, the discoveries, the science, it also favors psychic abilities. So in general, humanity may have this other one step more in the evolution through a psychic transformation or a psychic restructuring. Many people are waking up to realities that are unseen, right? For example, Lynn Coiner, the astrologer, says that there is a suspension of belief and control with septile to express a new, subtle, invisible reality. And we are already experiencing that kind of phenomenon. There is an aspect of synchronicity, for example, telepathic communication, intuitive solutions, energetic sensitivity, subtle inner awareness, right? The waking up of people, and hidden realities. So with that, I give you this flavor of this Sun entering Capricorn, or the solstice, right? That has this spiritual, mystic flavor to it, because not only Saturn in Aquarius is the ruler, but also this aspect, this septile aspect, that is very important for this solstice. Another aspect that I will consider for the solstice is the sesquiquadrate, because it is exact with Uranus in Taurus. And here we have a relationship between two earth signs, right? Which is important for the changes in the physical reality, in the tangible world, right? And Uranus is in the middle degree of the sign, which is a portal, is the gate of the avatar, is called, or avatar's gate, or also is called, in astrology, is called the cross quarters. and it's between halfway between the equinox and the solstice, right? Is the degree of the middle point. It's not that we are in the middle, we are at the solstice, but the degree, the 15 degree, is the degree that marks the halfway, or the exact middle of the season. In this case, for Taurus would be the middle of the spring season in the northern hemisphere, and the middle of the fall in the southern hemisphere. So it's a fixed sign. So we have the most intense manifestation of Taurus for Uranus, right? And if we blend those energies together, we get like a break, right? A break, because Taurus is so solid and Uranus so electric that it pushes, you know, electricity to it. It makes the essence of the sign of Taurus come powerfully through the cosmic body, conjoining it. Any planet that conjoins the middle of the sign makes it more powerful, especially because this is the middle of the season point. This middle of the season point gives unusual gifts and talents and transcendental qualities. So anything that Uranus does on this day, right, December 21st, is of a spiritual and it's kind of magical nature. And also it could be like considered like miracles, you know, something that we don't understand, that it's a divine power manifesting. And there is an extreme expression of a spiritual manifestation of something in the nature of Taurus. Uranus can be used to transcend difficulties or to achieve highest goals. This degree, the mid degree of the Taurus sign, is the heart of the sign, and it's a kind of a way through the sign. And Uranus can consolidate the resources. There could be news about, for example, the financial world, banks, and we've seen already financial problems with the cryptocurrency that is Uranus, right, in Taurus. It could be lucky breaks for some, but it could be you know, not so lucky breaks through for other people. But apparently it's something that since Uranus is retrograde and it will be stationary pretty soon at the 15 degree, so Uranus will persist on this degree, and there could be a breakthrough of something of a financial nature, or it could be also something about the environment, for example. Something that could be a final commitment of those who are in power to take care of the environment in some way. And I heard that some countries have taken measures that are serious measures that show that they are willing to do something, right? Of course, it's not enough because of the critical situation we are living. However, something is something, and we need to keep working on it. So now I'm going to share the chart for the moon, the new moon. And this new moon in Capricorn happens in 1 degree 32 minutes of Capricorn, and it is conjunct Hygeia. Here we have Hygeia. Well, Hygeia in Capricorn relates to the wellness with public interactions. And as I said, we are already facing, if not a pandemic, maybe a surge in respiratory viruses. So we can see that Hygeia is the asteroid that symbolizes the prevention of illnesses and how we deal with them in institutionally because of Capricorn, right? So, and it's about the public. Capricorn is the public, and also in Capricorn is where regulations are made, are taken. So it may suggest that people are moved to make radical changes to favor healthy behavior, right? And prevention of illness, and setting goals to, for example, exercise. In your personal life, you may decide to change the way you eat or the medications you take, or consult. Also, as I said, you may, since Saturn is in Aquarius, you may decide to consult someone who is an expert, right? Like a coach for exercising, or a specialist like a nutritionist, or someone who can help you prevent any disease. So, and also setting goals for being healthier, participating in physical education, and taking hiring a trainer or a coach that can guide you in your ambition to improve your physical condition, to prevent illness. Hygeia was the ancient Greek goddess of health, disease prevention. So she gave her name to the philosophy of hygiene. And the cult of Hygeia started in Athens in Greece about 600 BC, and in connection with the cult of Athene, goddess of wisdom and purity. Statues of Athene and Hygeia stood at the entrance of the Acropolis temple of Athens. And Hygeia was the young goddess, daughter, and chief attendant of Asclepius. Asclepius was the god of medicine in Greece, in the Greek mythology. And she was in charge of cleanliness and how to live a long life, preventive medicine. She also had two other medical sisters, Panacea, the cure-all, Iaso, which means remedy, and the Romans named her Salus. Salus, meaning was the Roman equivalent to Hygeia in Greek, and Salus means health. In classical sculpture, she was often shown holding or feeding a large snake, the symbol of the Asclepian medicine, in her arms, because it was the medicine at that time was more of a medicine of similars, right? It was the venom of the snake was used to, you know, as a symbol of healing. So that's another video, another subject. But her other official symbol was a large water basin and a snake. Statues of Hygeia were erected in all the major healing centers cited in the temples of Asclepius. And the cult of Hygeia spread during the 400s BC after the first appearance of a plague in Greece, and was established in Rome in 100 year after of our era. So in Greek, Hygeia means soundness and wholeness. Hygiene in medicine was about maintaining the wholeness of the body and keeping it fit. This is called health, right? So the Hippocratic doctors from 300 CE of our era onwards gradually formulated a philosophy of hygiene that covered every possible aspect of health, mind, body, and environment. So we see a renaissance of this integrative medical philosophy nowadays, with personalities like John Sarno from the 80s and Howard Skubiner right now, who teach the integral aspect of health, right? Body, mind, everything. Okay, so the conjunction is very significant. We are entering, as I said, the winter time in the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere, this is the summer, and we are having these challenges of these viruses that are spreading. And it's not only COVID, it's other viruses, respiratory viruses as well, including the flu or the new flu. So it is very opportune to have a look at how we protect ourselves. Right? So this new moon with Hygeia is very significant. And we will see the completion of this cycle in Cancer, right? When the full moon is in Cancer. But we have here like let's see, we have Saturn at 21, so it is 50 degrees, and they're still in septile. So we have this same flavor that I was talking about with the ruler of this new moon. But now we have 6 planets, right? And it's this overpopulation of Capricorn that requires us to pay attention to Capricorn, right? Wherever you have the house in Capricorn, you can count on some significant developments there. And it's just the start of the moon cycle, so the whole month will be marked by this influence, as I said. And then we will have Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, so there's a lot of energy in there. So another thing that I want to point out is that this new moon with Hygeia is in a T-square with Ceres, the asteroid in Libra, and with Jupiter in Aries. So this is a T-square. And I already spoke about the square with Jupiter of overextension and overexpansion and over-optimism. Now we have the moon and Hygeia, so we can count on exaggeration. But if I consider Ceres as well in the T-square, we are seeing this new moon is triggering this opposition, right, between Ceres and Jupiter. And it was present as well during the solstice. I just left it to speak about it now. But I follow the interpretations of Demetra George for Ceres, and she says, quote, exaggerated experience of nurturing or smothering parenting or over identification with parental roles, and unable to say no to others, demands leading to deplete to others' demands, right? Unable to say no to others' demands, leading to deplete of one's own nurturing reserves or lead to personal overindulgences. So this is the opposition to Jupiter. And so this requires, this opposition can show, as usual, in relationships, right? That one person, especially because Ceres is in Libra, right? And Jupiter in Aries, one wants me, my satisfaction, I want to overindulge myself, and Ceres is trying to say, well, let's balance things, right? Let's find a midway, like in Buddhism. So this aspect requires the balance between self-nurturing and caring for others. So, and I think the new moon is telling us, okay, let's be careful, because we are not able to sacrifice everything to take care of for others who don't pay attention to their health, right? And it could be really triggering the healthcare system. And we already know that in many countries, the healthcare system is already strained. So it could be this kind of problems. So we have the moon and the sun, or mother and father, and that can trigger, this new moon can trigger the need for a global activism dedicated to feed the hungry people, or the ill people, the people who are sick, sorry, people who are sick and suffering during this winter in the Northern Hemisphere, for example. And the sun squaring the moon, the new moon, may require us to the sun, I mean the Jupiter's and Ceres squaring the new moon may require us to make sacrifices for others. So like wearing a mask, for example, or protecting ourselves in different ways. Maybe we need to isolate a little bit, maybe not completely locked down, right? But maybe we need to be less social in order not to, for example, if you are sick, right, you stay home instead of going out. So it might require those kinds of logical, reasonable things, and in order to protect the society. Saturn in Aquarius, right? And we also may deny our own needs because of people who depend on us, right? Or are too attached. Also, the moon in a T-square like this could find balance or need to find a balance between the family needs and the needs of the outside world, right? Moon in Capricorn. In general, the moon in Capricorn is more restrictive or restricted in their emotions, right? And also it's a dry moon. It's a moon that is not comfortable, not only because it is in the sign of Capricorn, adverse to her home in Cancer, but also under the sun rays, right? It is a moon that is invisible, that is burned by the sun. So this moon is already kind of suffering there, and it's also it's a good moon to, you know, take things with a cold head and managing illness, for example, in this case, being able to control, restrain oneself emotionally and tackle things, activities, or organize whatever it is. It's Capricorn is the sign of organization, of creating a system, right? And this moon doesn't have room for emotions and for weakness. The Capricorn moon is a strong moon. It's a, you know, like a rock. And since this is Capricorn, right? Government institutions, corporations, or other huge, big systems, organizations may take the initiative to help, for example, feed the poor and help provide resources for the needy or for people who are displaced or sick. Many countries and church organizations or global food organizations are Ceres, right? Ceres is the nutrition. Ceres is the need for nurturance, and in Libra, the way we feel nurtured is through relationships, through relating to other people, to finding an agreement with other people, finding peace, helping others. So Chiron also is stationary. That's what the S means here. And at the 11:56, let's say 12 degrees, and it's stationary to go direct, and it will stay for a few days there. It won't move much in a few days, but Chiron has been already in this region for a year or so. So Chiron is emphasizing this need for finding a way to protect our existence, and also understanding that people may have different identities, but we are still human and we still have a life to live. And this Chiron in Aries may represent the vulnerability of life, right? We've seen that the pandemic was already brewing when Chiron entered Aries, right, in 2018 or so. So mid 2018, I think it was. And so Chiron in Aries is talking to us about the need to protect life itself, because Aries is the entrance into life, right? And so it shows our fragility, the fragility of human life. And I think that with this new moon, I want to say that we should be able to have a challenge, right? A challenge to protect life, to find ways of prevent disease, to better our bodily conditions, our physical conditions, and change our habits as well, because the moon is our habits, right? And our daily worries, our daily routines, the things that we do constantly since we wake up until we will go to bed, and even sleeping, right? So this new moon may ask us to make physical, tangible changes that can improve our health condition and improve life and improve also our environment, because Hygeia, not only did she protect hygiene, right, but in the body, but also the hygiene in our environment, how we clean the house, how we drink clean water, and all those things that are involved in sustaining our life, our tangible life. So in Capricorn is systems. So we may adopt, for example, a different kind of system to do that. So I think Hygeia is showing a very important point. Is highlighting this new moon, right? That is all about protecting our health and the hygiene in the world. So, well, that's all I have to share with you. I hope these ideas trigger some insights, and you can use these ideas for your own benefit. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great end of the year. Happy holidays to everyone, and I'll see you next year. Goodbye.